Okay, fine.
Okay, good. All right, so at 7:04, I will call us to order. Has everyone had a chance to look over the agenda?
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Austin, second by Jody. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any public comments?
Not yet.
Well, you still got 4 minutes.
All right, Banner.
It's okay. Okey-doke. I will start with phase one. So phase one, we actually have a warranty walkthrough plan for next week, April 29th.
Yeah.
Sorry, not next week. I was a little ahead. So April 29th, we'll perform a warranty walkthrough with Halmy, identify items that were either decided to be warranty items during the substantial completion punch list walkthrough, or if there's any new items that have came up that would fall underneath the warranty category, those will be identified at that time. And then they will have roughly a month, 30 days basically to get that work completed. And so we'll generate a list. There'll be a walkthrough with Banner, the city, and Halmy, and we'll generate a list of items. That way Halmy knows what they need to do. And then they will have, that, I think the completion date is actually May 20th. And so it's a little less than 30 days, but then they would have that time frame to, get that work completed. Phase 2A, yes, that's still going. Kind of a little bit of change of plans as far as how the funding has worked out. We've reduced some retainage, I guess, on the previous pay request. And with that retainage reduction, that's still pulling out of the SRF loans. And so we had contacted First District to kind of see what's left for funding, both on the clean water and the drinking water side. Mainly trying to make sure that there's no overdraw on those loans that are left. And so we've pulled all of the ARPA dollars out of the clean water side. So there are no ARPA dollars remaining on the clean water side. There's roughly $150,000 of SRF loan dollars left on the clean water side. And then on the drinking water side, after pay request 12, which was last month, there's about $270,000 of ARPA grant dollars left. So with that, adding in that block of Walters Avenue that does have sanitary sewer on it, we would be using all the loan dollars. Now, keeping in mind the engineering that still needs to happen, both finishing the design and the construction, plus completing as-built on the entire project, all comes out of the loan dollars. And so after some discussion with Brian and Doug, we're gonna kind of pull that block of Walters out of this 2A project, maybe look at doing that as part of the 2B project. And so we still needed to utilize the remaining portion of that ARPA money, like we had informed the state we would. And so the plan would be to add in the loop line at the water tower. It was an alternate as part of the water tower bid, but because of the pricing, it was pulled out of the water tower bid package. And so we would be able to add that back in and create that loop down there at where Walters kind of dead ends, complete that loop between the tower and that. So the water main on Park Avenue would still be there. The water main on Walters, creating that loop would still be there, and then it'd be adding this loop in at the water tower. And that would utilize all of the ARPA grant dollars that the city had.
Okay.
It'll leave roughly about $250,000 in loan dollars. But our thought is we will see where the engineering ends up, see what's left on both the clean water and drinking water side for SRF loan dollars. And then try to ask the state if we can move that money into phase 2B, since it is just loan dollars. You know, Lake Preston has a pretty good track record of utilizing the funding that's provided to them. So talking with Don, who has way more experience than I do, he said it can be done. It just may be a little bit of a challenge, and it probably depends how it's presented to DANR. But I think it's something that, you know, could be utilized. And I mean, if we can get another $100,000 into the 2B project, I think it would be worth it. So we'll see where that kind of all aligns, and then we can go from there.
Okay, perfect.
The phase 2B project, so at the last meeting, is that middle of March, I think, the council had
19th.
awarded that to Prunty. We prepared the bid package and sent that into the state last week. And so now it's just a matter of waiting for Danner's concurrence. Once Danner concurs with the notice of award that the city had signed, then we'll have to prepare the owner contractor agreement and have the city sign that along with Prunty. And then following that, we'll hold a pre-construction meeting
Mhm.
and then issue the notice to proceed.
Okay,
As far as the schedule, and I don't remember what day you guys came over to Brookings last week or 2 weeks ago.
Friday, it was Friday.
Okay, not last Friday, so a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
We had met with Prunty and Rounds, trying to figure out a schedule for
Mhm.
phase 2B. More than likely, it's looking like middle of June before they would probably come in and start the phase 2B project. They have a project in White that they're gonna try to finish up, and then they'll mobilize over here and then start, you know, middle of June.
Okay.
So with the knowledge, you know, that all school reunion is happening in July, and so if it happens to fall around then, we'll maybe have to try to work around both all school reunion and what they need to do for that construction. As far as north of Highway 14, it's a very small area that they would be disturbing, basically just a receiving pit for that bore underneath the highway.
Mhm.
But I guess we'll kind of see how the schedule falls out for them and then where they plan on starting, so.
Okay.
Yes, any questions? Okay. Water tower, I believe pay request 9 was
Yeah.
submitted for the water tower. Pay request 9 total was $45,900. And that was, again, just for some more shop fabrication, welding, some things like that took place at their shop.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about pay request 9?
Have they got a more exact date when they're, because I see some pieces down there, they said when they're gonna put that together yet, or?
So next Monday, we have a progress meeting with them, and hopefully at that point in time, they can give us a more accurate schedule. I do know their subcontractor, DL Barkey, came down last week during the blizzard and was gonna try to move this fire hydrant that's in the way. Spent a couple days at the bar, I think, and then left. And
At least we got some money out of them. Somebody did.
so then they said they'd come back this week. I don't think they've been here yet. I drove by there and it doesn't look like anything's moved, and of course now it's really muddy. But they do need to relocate that tower that's right up at the bottom of the embankment of the access road. They actually have to move it 30 feet south. So just kind of waiting on them to figure out when they're gonna do that, hopefully this week. I know Kingbrook, they've been coordinating with Kingbrook, and I think you, Brian, I haven't personally heard anything from them, so I don't know when they're coming in, but I know they want to get that hydrant moved so it's out of the way for when their erection crew comes in.
Okay.
Initially, I think they were thinking the third or fourth week of April was when they were planning to come in, and obviously they'll set the base cone first and then, you know, get their welding crew and their erection crew in here and start going up. So I would assume maybe some more deliveries will happen here coming up, which they really need to get that site shaped up a little bit because they're running out of room there on the curve.
Yeah, the delivery guy, when he showed up, he was here for 2 hours before we even knew he was here.
Hmm.
And we pulled up and I'm like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I don't know. I said, put it in the ditch. I said, and then he said, well, what about right here? I said, well, if you put it there, we gotta barricade it back, go back to closing it. So
Mhm.
that's what we did.
Good thing the barricades are in the ditch.
Yeah,
What's that?
Good thing the barricades are in the ditch.
Yeah.
so yeah, hopefully Monday we get a little bit better schedule on when they plan to be in here. I think once that erection crew gets here, I mean, they'll be here until that tower's erected. So I just don't know how far they are with the shop fabrication to a point where, will that erection crew outpace the
Right.
shop
Fab.
fabbing and then run out of work type of deal?
And all the main barrels gone.
Yeah.
So I think all they got, I mean, most of the bowl, I don't think they'd have much left down there. And if it is, I'm guessing it's sitting down there a lot, if
Right.
they need it.
Yeah. So hopefully Monday we can figure that out and then, start to see the tower go up. That'll be
That'd be nice. People will see some progress then.
Mhm.
yeah, pretty slow progress on these water towers, honestly. So, yeah, I guess that's what we know as far as
Okay.
right now with the tower.
Okay, so is someone willing, any other questions about the water tower? Okay, is there a motion to approve pay request 9?
So, second.
Okay.
Motion by Joel, second by Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay.
TAP grant.
Mhm.
Right now, the kind of the group that's leading up that design, I had reached out to them last week to provide a little bit more accurate of a design schedule. What we had was kind of an intermingled schedule between, we adjusted a few things, didn't adjust everything. Because we expected the notice to proceed much sooner than what we actually got it.
Mhm.
And so the schedule was a little bit off. I mean, it showed our kickoff meeting was on March 18th and it showed 60% design completed by March 28th. It didn't happen. And so right now, they're working on preparing an actual schedule to kind of lay out the progress of the design along with the set meetings that we plan to have with the city. Still keeping that August timeframe for getting the plans into bid letting with the DOT. Once it gets into bid letting, I would assume that it's probably going to be about a month before they actually get that out and get it posted. And then, have the bid, and then it'll probably be another month before they award it. And so now we're looking at, October, and depending on the October we have, there may potentially be able to be some work done. Either that, if there's not the capability to have any work done, then that would just push it into the spring of 25.
Okay.
Or sorry, 26.
Yeah.
And we'll have to probably take into a little bit of consideration, does the city want stuff tore up in October? Not harping on DeSmit, but I doubt we want sidewalk tore out and not put back in at the end of the year. So, those types of things are something we'll have to consider as far as when that project is awarded.
Sure.
So I think it can all be completed in one season if it did get pushed to 26. I mean, I don't see an issue with it getting completed. It would just be some coordination with school and how they would kind of like to see it phased out to still allow, the kids to get to and from school. And then the chip seal project, so still hasn't advertised. I think we sent the advertisement over to you, Brenda, was that right? We had a couple late additions a couple communities that called like just 2 weeks ago and asked if they could get on. And so we told them yes, so it doesn't take long to put these plans together. It's just a matter of being able to get them put together, making sure the community is okay with it, everything looks good, and then getting it out there. So I think the plan is like the third week or fourth week of April. I don't know if it's said in there on
It
that
did, I think it was April,
21st or 22nd. I don't recall.
like
Late April.
23rd.
23rd?
Okay.
So that's when the advertisement will go out. I think, for the most, or was that the bid date?
That's the bid
That's the
date.
bid date?
That's why I was just gonna ask if the bid date would change because of the.
No, I don't think the bid date was
Cities.
gonna change. So I think that we were, so like White Lake was one of them who added, and we already had Kimball on the multi-community chip seal, so White Lake got added. I don't think they're doing a lot, so it was a fairly quick turnaround. I think everything has been finalized since then. So I think as far as I know, we're still good to bid that on the 23rd of April, so. And hopefully the bids come in good on that and we can, maybe do the alternate and go all the way up Fremont Avenue
That'd be
with that
nice.
chip seal. So I know that the cost to do Main Street up here as part of the 2B project, just north of the railroad tracks. I think originally when Brian and I kind of went through the budget, we were anticipating about 70,000-ish. And putting the bid tab together, it's more around, it's about 48,000 is what it is. So that's nice, save a little bit on that street budget there, and then, maybe some of that can be utilized to get a few more blocks chip sealed.
That would definitely be nice.
It was the 16th, the week before.
Oh, 16, okay,
That's even soon.
Next week?
next week,
Yeah, because I know last Monday I sent it to the newspaper,
okay.
and so I was hoping that she was gonna be able to get it in
Oh, run it last week,
for
this week.
running it for the week, yeah.
And I don't know, a lot of time, it's kind of more of a specialty item, the chip sealing is, so, if we get 3 bids, that would be good. But the company that did it last year was called Aztec, and they did a really good job. Most of the communities, they were only in for 2 days. They came in and chip sealed one day, came back the next day, fog sealed, and then we're out. So,
That would be nice.
yes.
Keep up the progress that we've been making.
Yeah, and I would say time frame wise, I would expect them to come in end of July, some August timeframe, somewhere in there.
The
Probably.
third week of July?
No.
Okay, just checking.
That's in there. So they
Okay.
know that date. Most of the dates that were in there for most communities was after August 1st.
Oh, okay,
So
okay. All right. Anything else for Banner? Well, thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
All right, did everyone check out the minutes for the March 10th regular meeting?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Joe, second by Joel. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. What about the meeting on March 19th?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Way to go, John.
Got in there.
Jump in there. I'll second.
Motion by John, second by Joe. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? No, motion passes. Committee reports.
Well, oh,
Usually a deep hole.
what's that?
Usually a deep hole with water.
Oh, yeah.
I know some committees met.
Yeah, we met before the meeting tonight and we discussed some things,
Okay,
so,
so in progress.
yeah, it's a kind of in progress type deal.
So the gap, you guys actually need to discuss it amongst yourself at this meeting. So,
You trying to push this ball along here?
she'd prefer it.
and so the gal from Max came and she finally got back to me about her advice was for all of these vacant lots and vacant houses and things. If they have service lines, they should be paying something. You know, there was a good example of some of these empty lots where we just put in new infrastructure, like one curb stop is $7,500.
Service, one service.
Right, yeah. And so her thoughts were 25 water, 25 sewer. And then all of these, because I have like 83 different properties. And so you would just bill them every month $50, and that would go into its own fund. And then like say after 2 years, we can do a balloon payment on like the lowest loan we have. And the lowest one is the water tower. And say we get that paid off sooner, and then you go to the next loan, continue to pay off. But I know you guys were all discussing that 25 and 25 maybe a little steep or
Or a little
not
light.
enough, right? And then we discussed the shops. We have 6, 7 shop accounts, but she suggested leaving those how they
As is.
are, because like they could be on the same lot, but they just have 2 service lines, like if they're on a corner.
Mhm.
So she suggested keeping those how we do them. And then we kind of discussed that, you know, there's some snowbirds, and right now, when we go turn off at the curb, I turn their account off, and so they don't get charged at all. And so she suggests that if it does get turned off at the curb, they continue to get charged all the surcharges, like the normal bill. But like a lot of these places that haven't had their water on for like 2 years or not even while I've been here, then those would be the accounts that you guys need to decide between, say, 15 and 15 or 20 and 20.
Well, obviously, the city has spent money putting all this infrastructure in place. And I don't see any point in just pretending we didn't spend the money. If it's going into a vacant lot, we still spent the money putting it there. So we need to charge something.
There's surrounding towns that do this as well that we know
Yeah, they,
of.
like snowbirds, for instance,
Mhm.
they charge the whole
The
year.
full amount.
But it was just when I started here, that's just what we did, was
Shut
turn
it
the
off.
account off when,
Mhm.
And I'm sure they appreciate that, but I don't think we have that flexibility anymore.
right.
No,
Well, you can't shut them off and not charge them anything if you're gonna charge people that all they've got is a curb stop and actually no service, a charge.
Mhm.
You know, they at least need to be charged a minimum of something. I like the idea of you're just not gonna get your usage. So you're saving money because you're not there. Well, not as much as they were before, because they got out of $100 and some a month.
But yeah, I mean, our surcharges are pretty steep.
Mhm.
yeah,
So,
I don't know if water and sewer wanna communicate more about it, or
yeah,
if you
that's what
all
I'm
kinda-
hearing.
all kind of wanna chime in, or what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I guess my thought is, as a council, throw out your ideas, and then water sewer committee can take your suggestions back and meet as a committee between now and our next meeting. Cause I want to make sure we do this fairly and not that you feel
Yeah,
pressure to do
right.
something, but I also think it warrants the opinion of the entire council, so.
Well, here's one thought. What is the difference between somebody going on vacation and just an empty lot? They both have dented services. I would think you would charge them the same amount. Whatever that may be.
Well, that's why I was thinking like snowbirds.
instead of nothing, you could go back to the minimum.
A minimum.
Same amount.
50 or whatever it
As
is.
any lot that
Well, just to keep things
has
the same.
extra. Yep.
I'm kind of along that same thought pattern as you. Please explain to me again why shops get a break over a vacant lot. I mean, they both have meters, they both have service. Why
Well,
is
they
one
have curb
cheaper?
stops, because a lot of the lots don't have a meter. They just got a curb stop.
Okay, so we got one service basically going in there feeding two different buildings. Kind of.
I don't know.
Okay.
Some do, some
No,
don't.
so.
Or we haven't got as much invested into it, is that the
so
idea?
there's, like, two of these shops live on a corner,
Okay,
and there's a service line that comes in off of the one side and a service line that comes in from the front. So
okay,
they have two service
So one
lines,
goes to the
so two
house.
water meters. And so they
Okay.
have two accounts. And so there's like a handful, now there's 7 of those.
okay,
And right around when we upped all of the rates in 2020,
right,
they came in and voiced like, well, we pay something, but we're not gonna pay this. And so then the council decided, okay, so if you use under 500 usage, then you're only gonna get charged the minimums. But if you're over the 500, you get charged all of those surcharges. So like I had.
well, okay, I mean, I get that, I guess that was a decision of the previous
So
council, I
like I
guess.
have to, pay attention to all of those 7 accounts,
Sure.
so.
But it would make it a little more uniform if you just said shops, like, say if it's the 25 we end up with. It's $25 for a shop, it's $25 for, like a curb stop. It's $25 for people that go south, well, 25 or whatever.
Whatever the number is.
But just make
Yeah.
everything all uniform.
Well, it'd be a lot simpler
Either
for you, I
all-
would think.
Well, yeah. Because the fewer different categories we have, the
Yeah.
easier it's gonna be for Brenda.
Yeah, yeah. Make it
And
more
if
simple.
they're paying 18 now, depending upon where it is, if we go to 15,
Well,
they
here-
could be saving some money, or we could go to 18, since that's what is going on. Or if it's 25, worst case, they've only gained a little, so.
What are you wondering,
Like,
Brenda?
I'm fine with the shops, and Jessica from MAPS agreed that the shops were fine. But if you wanted to simplify it, I mean. And out of those 7 shops, only 2 of them like go over the 500.
Yeah.
Like, some of them
Well,
only.
minimal usage.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I
Like, they
get, I
typically-
get that.
only use like 100.
But it sounded to me like we have service coming in one side, service coming in another, and we have 2 meters. If they're 2 separate residences, they'd be getting 2 separate bills. And why would that bill be any different than somebody's got a vacant lot that uses nothing?
Yeah.
To me, if
It's
I
not-
had somebody that
it's
has,
2 different residents.
No.
It's
no,
not two-
I'm
That's his
saying if you
example.
treated it like that.
Oh,
But they're not using the same amount, like,
it's a garage.
who's
Yeah.
gonna wanna buy a house in a corner lot if you're gonna get charged 2 directions?
Full,
Yeah,
full surcharges.
right,
Mhm.
yeah. So,
But if they have 2 meters. I don't know, it's, I understand what you're saying, I'm just trying to understand the distinction between shop usage and a vacant lot charge, what the difference really is. And evidently you have a thought in mind where I haven't quite got there yet.
Like if you were looking at how much we charge the shops, which is those minimum, like say we use 100.
Is it just because they're sharing property? I'm just trying to understand the reasoning behind it.
Well, probably,
there's a couple of them that are on whole different lots from their houses,
Yeah,
but,
so,
it's the fact that nobody lives there and stuff, that
right,
it would lead to minimal use, and then if the gallonage is lower. Oh, that was before the discussion of,
you know,
vacant
like,
lots.
if you
and-
well,
guys,
that's,
that's why I would say, I don't know if I would go over 18 and 18 per se, because all of the shops, if they use 100, say, or
Mhm.
just 0, they get charged 18 minimum water, 18 minimum sewer. So
or,
that's why I would say, you know, like I throw out 15 and 15.
Mhm.
Like that's still lower than what the shops
Mhm.
are.
okay,
So it sounds like water
I would-
sewer has some
Yeah,
work to do.
Discussion.
I guess, I would say that there's probably a lot of people in this town that think that they already pay enough for what they have. I understand that all of the new construction and all the new hookups came in, but you know, I guess I'll play devil's advocate and say some people probably would say that they already pay enough for what they have. But I understand the water hookups being there and everything too.
Mhm.
And I don't know if
But
this
it's
could
a
be
bit
seen
of a
as,
tightrope to walk.
yeah. You could say this could be seen as people are, I don't know how to put it, I guess. I'll say getting punished for having other lots that they use for stuff and they don't have water hookups on, or they don't have a building on. When I say they have water hookups, you know, I guess that's the way I could see people taking it. That's the way
Well,
part of me thinks it
it's,
is. But
it's not so much punishment.
yeah, that's a bad way to put it. I can't think
No,
of the other way to put it. But
they're gonna probably see it that way.
yeah,
Yeah,
They could sell them, develop them.
That's true. That's very true. I mean, they don't need to, I mean, at this point, it just costs them money. Pay taxes every year.
Yeah.
And then I would like when you guys come to a decision, and then we'll have to change the resolutions to add that in.
Mhm.
And then I would want quite a bit of lead time before we implement it, so that I can send out letters to all of these. Cause I mean, it's probably not gonna be good.
She doesn't want to lynch mom out.
Right, right.
Yeah, I get that.
all right, well, thank you for,
Let's say, were there any, lots that got the water and sewer stubbed in that people requested it? Or were they just the original ones that already had some?
They were
I think
requested.
they were requested.
There were some that were requested, but most were back to original.
And so you just put them in?
Yeah.
Now, by having them in the future, if somebody wants to build on one of them lots, you won't have to dig up the street, so you gotta consider that too, you
Correct.
know? They are saving you from digging up a brand new street.
Yep.
To tap in, so.
Yeah.
I
Investment
would
towards
find it
development.
hard to penalize people just because they got stubbed in onto their lots. They're probably saving money in the long run. Just a thought.
sure, yeah, well, thank you. Personnel committee. No,
we didn't get to meet.
oh, okay.
Too many meetings all stacked up.
Okay, well, then I went to the municipal league.
I got one of those too,
Yeah.
at municipal league.
So that's the pool through the municipal league, something you can find out what they would be
Information,
charging
yep.
for our folks. It sounds like it could be a good way to save some money with insurance options.
Is there contact?
Yes.
I can
Yep.
handle that.
You have all of that in the printed.
Is that in that folder?
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, water, sewer, street.
Oh, this is-
Doug?
We're good. We hauled a bunch of, our old reclaimed gravel, we took off the road, we started hauling it up to the dump ground. We put it out there so it's not mud. We got a little bit left to do, but we wanted to see how it handled it before we took the rest out there. But it seems to be a lot better than it was. With that being said, maybe Brenda's got it coming up, but when the opening of the dump for the season, that we need to discuss that at some point too.
I talked to Rod.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We got basically all the siren stuff ready to go. The wires ran, the timer is all, the starters put in, everything's, the clock set. Just gotta, whenever Otter Tail delivers the pole, we'll install it and be ready to rock and roll on that.
I won't miss dinner anymore.
And then, with that project that we did, while Aaron was here, we had him test and disconnect some of the hundreds of year old well controllers and boxes and breakers, and we took all that off the back wall and just got it out of here. Just, we didn't need it, and a lot of power running to something that we didn't need power for, so got that all cleaned up. We got the bathroom finished up basically this morning.
Looks good.
And then the urinal, the valve, brand new valve that came with it, they think it's bad, so
Figures.
we have to try to dig up the receipt and see if we can't return it, get a different one or exchange it for a different one.
I thought you just put sign up, you didn't want nobody to use it.
Nah, just for my cleanup. But no, and then the last thing I had was the Skycam keeps going offline, and we found out that because the cafe does not have a static IP. So talking with Valley Fiber, they said it was gonna be about $10 a month to get a static IP. So basically $120 is what I would propose to the council to pay the cafe to, I mean, we're using their Wi-Fi. But also I say that cautiously because I've had some people inquire about moving it to the new tower. And I don't, that's your guys' decision.
Well,
I think
not
you
a
get-
lot happens out on that road.
I think it's a Skycam because it's actually in the sky there instead of on Main. That was what I, you can see storms rolling in, or if there's, weather, bad, whatever.
I guess it just depends what we want to be used for.
Right, and you see them, most of them are on main streets.
Mm-hmm.
I would say,
Well, you see both.
yeah, I would say most are on street.
Right.
Yeah, cause like, if I'm starting looking for progression of a storm, I start at Miller
Yeah.
on their street right there at the
Yeah.
intersection of 14 and
Yeah.
work back to Huron. They've got one in, on that one building on Dakota, and then they got one out at the airport, which really doesn't show you as much as one on a street does. And
Yeah, so that, basically what I would propose is that, or propose to you guys is that we, say it's whatever, just to pay the cafe, $10 a month or through it, end of the year, and then beginning of the year, whatever. Pay up on it just to get it, so we don't, once a month, I'm having to go down there and just get it, because the IP changes.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I think there might be a way around that, but I gotta dig my brain out of the closet and see if I can remember how to do that.
Yeah, because the guy that does from on-site 24/7, he thinks he had it fixed, but then I haven't seen it lately. I don't get on there enough to look and see. But last time I was there, I plugged right into the router and he said, I think I found, what's going on here, blah, blah, blah. So we'll see if it happens, but I just wanted that, I think, maybe I'm speaking for you, John, but I'd say that's the least we can do for the cafe for using their Wi-Fi and the
Oh,
building.
yeah.
for that.
That would be the simplest way to deal with it.
And that's all I had for now.
Wonderful, thank you. Brenda?
So we got the Twins grant
Mhm.
for 8,500. And so we did contact the fencing guy and he has things ordered. And so probably end of
He
May-ish.
said 3 to 4 weeks to get material. and you were last week, so.
So that was exciting. Election is tomorrow. So from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the community.
It's not the 9th, like it said in the paper?
And then I think I attached the House Bill 1239. Yeah, you guys read that, the library. Basically everything that they were trying to push through for.
Yeah.
It didn't happen, so.
Well,
Yeah,
they removed the
because-
jail time.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Kind of, if I understood them, it's somebody could come in and complain or bring a question to a local board on whether it is obscene or not.
Right, yeah.
Which, how do you define obscene? What's obscene to somebody?
It's not obscene to somebody else.
Right.
I mean, that's-
I mean, it's just like, wow. I know there used to be somebody that would come in there when Dorothy Pike was there and would bring up a porn site on there and then always get up and leave with it running.
Oh.
And she'd have to go over and shut it off.
That's good.
But time took care of that problem type thing. But yeah, they took it back. They still left it on like a board's got to decide if it's obscene or not.
Right, so, yeah. I know Brent, Debbie does a good job of getting material that our community would like, but yeah, there are books that I read from that library that she said someone else has complained about.
It's content.
People have intercourse in those books, and they take offense to some
Well, I don't
language,
read
but-
those paperback novels.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you know, that's what's gonna be in there.
Right, yeah, so I mean, yes, I think it's nice that it's for a
Just turn the
board to
channel on the
decide.
TV. Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to one person being able to pitch a fit and cause problems.
Yep.
So, yeah,
So finance officer school is in Pier this year, from June 10th to the 13th. Okay, so I did kind of discuss,
is Marla gonna work for you?
right, I have to ask.
Okay.
But she will. I think every year she has.
Yeah,
So which brings me into, I kind of discussed with Donna, and then when Pooh visits me, I talk to him. So we discussed like the fill-in position that you guys have brought up. And so I had talked to Marla, and so Marla was kind of like, so if you find someone that's part-time, will they just take my job? And, you know, she really wouldn't work over here, you know? And so she voiced that she would still like to work over here. So then I'm like, well, would you be able to work like 6 to 8 hours a week? You know, like just one day come in each week. Or then I also mentioned about like a cleaning person for like the community room. Now, I do it and then Marla does it if she's filling in for me and I don't have anything for her to do. But like, I don't know if you guys were thinking more of someone just here to do, you know, payroll, utility billing, like all of that kind of stuff.
I think, I realize it was John that brought up, so I'm not speaking for you, but in knowing the times it's been discussed in the past, it's more, like, those are still yours. I don't know that we need to teach someone else to do payroll, because that's quite the deal. But teaching someone to do some of the other tasks so that you can focus on the hard and heavy things, such as payroll.
Or somebody that is knowledgeable, so that if you had a long medical leave or, you know, just the,
Could step in,
yeah,
yes.
you know, that would know the ins and outs if we came, into crunch time and
Yeah.
you were out for 6 to 12 weeks or something.
God
Because
forbid.
that does happen,
It does.
and so a lot of places have backup people in your day to day, so,
Or at least have an idea of where to start.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Marla does know how to do utilities, like the money coming in and posting and like for a while I was having her come in while I was here. Cause if you do it like once a month,
Yeah.
you're not gonna like retain it all the time. So I had her come in some extra times while I was here so that I could help her if she got stumped, So I don't know if you guys are thinking, if Marla can do a little bit of extra hours or if you want a whole new person or.
I think she's already half trained, so I guess I wouldn't do anything else. Providing she's.
And
willing.
whatever would work best for you too.
Yeah, well, see, that's just it. I think it'd have to be at your discretion what you have her do.
And I don't know if it would be a set day, cause like the utility bills are due on the 15th.
Mhm.
So like on the 15th and 16th, we're just, slammed with all of these bills. So like it would probably get moved around.
Well, it
which
probably
day.
doesn't all have to be all in one day. Couldn't you split the day if it needed to be, like 4
Or
and
heavy
4?
one
Oh,
week.
right.
Yeah, it could be heavier one week. It doesn't have to be that it's 8 hours a week.
Just so it kind of
Position
averages
to
out
be-
around that area.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
position could be, like 10 hours every 2 week, every payroll, something like that. And then you figure out where you're going to be needing her most. Like,
And the more you use it, probably the better feel for what you're gonna need too.
Okay, so Brookings Swim Club last year did the lessons and people really enjoyed that. They did all the paperwork with them. They did great lessons. And so we're gonna have them come back this year. And so it depends upon like what you guys do with manager and whatever. But I know one of the applicants for the manager, she was getting WSI certified. But like me just talking with the guys, like we still think that we should try to use the Brookings Swim Club. I don't know what you guys think, but they were just so more organized and parents, like they have a date and time where open enrollment starts and parents can just go online, sign up their kids. And
Mhm. I like that idea.
I've had people ask if we were going to offer it again this year because they really liked it last year.
so like even if that one applicant does get WSI certified, I mean, we technically really wouldn't be using it.
WS certified.
To
water
teach swimming
safety.
lessons.
Okay, that's what I was kind of
Yeah,
curious
water
about.
safety.
Would they still be able to maybe do private
That's what I was
lessons, individual? Some
Mhm.
people, it used to be a thing where people would do individual lessons.
Yeah.
So I know, like, we have discussed that, but it really isn't worth like their time and the
Well,
amount, but
right. But yes, I think we could utilize if we hire someone who has that certification. I think we could use it, but I think having the swim link come over and do the swimming lessons would be good for the group.
Mhm.
And then if we can offer a certain number of private pay lessons, because there's only so many hours available at the pool also, so, yeah.
okay. Oh, let's see. Oh, and then, so when Rodney and I were talking about the Rummel site, we were discussing the 19th. It's a Saturday.
Of April?
Depending on weather, if it's a disaster out there, then probably no.
That'd be kind of soupy out there now.
And can you remind me please of when the big dumpsters are coming?
On the 25th.
The 25th of April?
Yeah.
As well, okay. Thank you. And that's for
Runs till the ninth.
or
Till the
to
ninth.
Runs till the ninth.
the 9th, so the 25th to the 9th. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right. Approval of claims.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Joe, second by Jody. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Did everyone look at the financial report? I didn't see anything.
Nothing stood out at me.
Mm-mm. All right, so someone willing to make a motion to approve the financial report?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Joel, second by John. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, it's nice to see some building permits on the table.
Always.
Anything worth noting on those, Brenda? They look
take
pretty
one.
straightforward.
One is a replacement shed.
Yeah,
And then a new house.
exciting. Okay, and nuisance properties. He's been through town, realizing that weather has not been terribly cooperative, so just sort of establishing a baseline and give people, especially with citywide cleanup, a chance to get rid of some things.
Which,
Fifth Street.
which fence?
Oh, okay. This one's going down by the end.
So, yeah, hope to
Southeast,
see more changes with that. New business drinking water report.
Holding this hostage.
Oh, yeah, I guess, was anyone alarmed by any numbers or anything? I didn't see any out of,
No, I didn't see anything that seemed like it was out
no.
of range.
Do we have to approve the report? I mean, the report is a report. Okay, so yeah, we do have to approve the report.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Your turn.
I'll second.
Motion by Rick, second by Jody. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A pedal pole on Park Avenue for July 27th, Brenda?
Yes, closing the little area between the two entrances, to the
Oh,
park.
that gravelly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was Amber Nelson. Last year was the first time that they did the pedal pool.
Mhm.
And so then they're gonna do it a second year.
Was there a good turnout?
Yeah, there was.
July 27th.
Yeah.
What time did she say?
She didn't give me a time,
Okay.
but she was trying to get it for Town and Country Days, but the guy is in a different community.
Oh, okay. That's why I asked the 27th.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't during Town and Country Days last year either.
No, it was the week after,
Yeah.
or 2 weeks after, whatever.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve that?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Rick, second by Austin, the two non-Jays. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we do have new applications for swimming lifeguards and a manager. I'm guessing we'll need executive session to discuss personnel for that.
Yep.
Oh my. It is still light outside and I am asking for employee concerns. God bless America.
That's because of time change.
Where do you begin, Brian?
No, well, back in. No, all I got is that I am requesting the fire department be put on the agenda for next month's meeting for spiking permits,
Oh,
plural.
Spiking permits?
Especially with liquor licenses.
Yeah. The right way to say that.
Gotcha. No, we're not building a railroad.
Neither the translator.
that's it?
why-
Sweet. Brenda?
I'm good.
John? No.
See,
Don't think of any.
Your thing's grinding.
Just stalling for Donna.
The clutch was slipping.
Yeah,
Joe.
I'm good.
Nothing.
Joe?
Nada.
Snow removal was very good this last time around. I went to a neighboring town the next day afternoon. Still didn't really have any of the streets cleaned off. I was kind of surprised by
Yeah,
that.
the second one we did, we only got 2 inches the second go around. We're like, yeah, we asked a few people around town, they're like, no. And by that afternoon, it was.
Yeah.
But the 5.5 inch, yeah, we're like, we gotta do something. The only thing we did do different than we normally don't is we piled it at the community room instead of paying to have trucks haul and picking it up. And that, I mean, that's a lot of bouncing around them trucks with that wet slop.
What is that, heavy?
Yeah.
That was all I had.
I think it would have tore up where we were trying to dump it.
Yep.
Just
Mm.
terribly.
We just decided we're gonna pile it. We don't normally do it, but we did it this time. Just
Oh,
You're on.
on Allen's Corner,
Mhm.
as Cedric said, where they were,
Yeah, he's got CVC lined up to do it.
okay.
The company that actually got the bid to do all the cast in place and all that for the project.
Oh, okay.
So it sounds like they're the ones that are gonna do it. I guess they're like top notch. So.
Was our timeline or anything?
No, I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I asked him about it. I asked him about it yesterday.
Told by June 1st, it would be done.
It was actually May, the end of May.
All of it.
That's kind
The last time I was here. It would be done.
Yeah, no, and that's, and their thing, another thing is too is they're gonna redo the asphalt. It sounds like they're gonna cut to the center line and it's gonna adjust the tilt of the road a little bit and all that. So then
Okay.
I told him, I said, well, you're not taking all that in one shot. I said, what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut 6 inches to a foot more than you have to. Give yourself room to work, cone it off, because if they're picking up that pile or hauling out of the bins, it's gonna be, and then when it's time to go, they can saw cut it and do their thing. So I just said, we're not gonna tear it up and have a temp surface and all that for now. We're gonna do it right.
And good luck for everybody
Second
tomorrow.
Well, I did that a lot different. I had to tear up a lot of road, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna take for granted they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, water's going uphill.
Yeah.
I don't have any more.
Perfect. No, the only thing I had was to encourage people to go vote tomorrow, so.
Yep.
Yeah. It's nice to see, an abundance
Oh.
of candidates.
Talking about voting,
Yes.
at municipal league, they were talking about
Oh, the change of dates?
legislature had to screw stuff up.
Oh,
You can only have elections every other year.
no.
What?
No, it wasn't that. Every other year, it doesn't have to be in conjunction with the June
Oh,
or,
okay.
November.
Oh, okay.
I haven't been following any of it, but did
They're going to
Did
be
they keep
updating,
April or
No.
not? Oh, they
but
did.
like every other year, like it can be, like,
You can,
they made it very complicated, but they're going to update you.
Okay.
yeah, and it has to be at June or November. You know, like for primaries or,
General.
Which, I mean, in a way, it helps the city, because I don't know the last time there was a school board election, so it's the full expenses on the city, but
So would that
I
mean
see.
that the
So
county
then-
pays for the election and all of the workers and everything?
right, well, we're waiting for the state to tell us how that impacts financially.
it's like, okay, do we have to have 2 sets of election workers?
Right, no, it'd be, right,
We'd
Putting
assume
things
that
on one
they
ballot.
can-
Or we split the cost.
Yeah, who knows?
That's what we would do with the schools.
right.
The whole time I've been here, they haven't had a school election.
So that's that. Okay, so
Oh, wait,
no,
canvassing the ballots meeting.
oh, yes.
Do we wanna do it? We have to do it within 7 days. So do we
Okay.
wanna do it on Monday night or,
The 14th,
yeah,
okay,
does that sound good?
sure. And will you do like other years and just let the nominees know
Oh,
that
yeah,
night, or?
yeah, tomorrow night I have everyone's phone numbers, I'll just text you. Yeah.
Okay,
At what time did I skip 6 on
I
4:14?
I put 7 PM.
We can do 6 at 6.
6 works for me.
Okay.
Okay. I'll try to make it.
It's a special meeting, so it's 6 o'clock. Send out a reminder that it's 6 o'clock. Hopefully you won't be in here.
Before noon.
Our next regular meeting is May 5th.
All right,
I'll call for an executive for personnel.
wonderful, at 8:06. All right, well, thank you. How about that? We got you out of here in just over an hour.
What was the grant for? Thanks.
Yes, yeah, the twins.
So the fence behind
The backstop fence.
Foul ball,
Yeah.
foul ball fence.
is a grant through the Minnesota Twins.
Oh,